Check, check, check. 1, 2. Trying to reposition this. Okay. Trying to have it cut out the view of the quilter. Let's see, I could probably do this and have it. Hey cats, can you hear my microphone all right when I have it in this area? Yeah, that looks better actually. That way, get the amp in there. Always want to make sure people can see the bass rig. Hey, John at Quilter. You just got in the car, ready for keep awake on the commute. Hey, John Axe, how you doing, bro? Thanks for joining in. Always great to see you. Nice. Still warming up a bit here. I went live just about an hour ago on my Instagram, just for like 10 minutes. And just did a little warm-up shed. Since then, I've had some caffeine, so I'm feeling good. Yeah, is my bass double truss rod. This definitely is double truss rod. This one you can see in there. There's 2 truss rods. There you go. There's 2 truss rods right there. It's the only bass I have that has 2 truss rods, and I'm so used to just 1 truss rod because obviously, I mean, I feel it's a little easier. You just have to deal with one thing. But when they made this bass, they said that it would have a little more stability by having a double truss rod. So I trust, the cats who built this bass for me. I'm like, you're the expert, so I'll just go with what you say. Yeah, it's not winter as yet. We're in fall, autumn, but next month it's going to be winter. But it is brisk outside. It is cold. So, what was it last night? Let me see. This is the thing. Even though I grew up in New Zealand and I'm used to Celsius, after living in California for 15 years, I got used to Fahrenheit. So right now it's 55 Fahrenheit. It went down to like 44. So it's gonna get. It was like 39 the other night. Really cold. How's the bass sound? Does the bass sound all right? Brent. How you doing? Nice to see you. Yeah, sounds good. So I've got I'm using a DI, and I've got a microphone. A tiny bit louder than the speaking mic. Yeah, because I got, because I have this mic all the way over here. Because, let me see if I could just bring it a touch closer. Just a touch. Just a touch. Yeah, I think we could work with that. Hey, you always want to have the. All right, let's bring. How about that, cats? How's that? But always the feature is going to be the bass, right? The bass sound. So I'm using a DI and I've got a microphone on the bass cabinet as well. So that's what's going on with the setup here, like I usually do. Yeah. And I'm sure that you're going to get some of the room bleed of the cabinet coming through my speaking microphone. So yeah, it's all good, Do this, have one on, one off. Might do it without the headphones. Just hear the cabinet in the room. Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, John, the gradual wah, that's a good name for it. That's the EBS, Bass-IQ. It's so cool. It's my absolute favorite. Obviously, because I got wow, like. And then, oh, and cats, also tell me if it's like distorting. The bass is distorting on your end. I always want to make sure that I'm not like that. I've got a really good sound over here, but I want to make sure that you're also having a good sound too from the bass, and that it's not like clipping. Yeah, so I have it so that the attack is definitely a little it goes into it. It's a slower attack. Yeah, absolutely. If I was to set it to a faster attack, you can hear. You can hear that it's definitely more faster. And also, that gives you a different type of sound. Hey Lawrence, how you doing? It's a very funky pedal. Do you think this could be done on a Boss PH3 as well? You know, I'm not too familiar with that one. Boss PH3. What is the Boss PH? Let me just, I gotta see. I don't even really know what that, I gotta Google it right now, but I might have seen it. Boss PH3. What is a Boss P? Oh, a phase shifter. Maybe not on a phase shifter, because a phase shifter, I mean, it's just gonna be like just a phase pedal, obviously, so it's going to give you, yeah, it's going to give you that sound. This is my phaser, which is also EBS, the D phaser, and I can set which resonance to affect more, right? Juice here. We'll bring down the mic level. Yeah, so yeah, no, this is more of a with the phaser, it's definitely a different effect than an envelope. Envelope is using essentially like a low and like a high pass kind of filter to get that type of sound. So yeah, for me, really, if you want to get that kind of thing, you really got to go with this this envelope filter. I'm sure there's other pedals that could probably do it, but I haven't come across one that does the gradual. You know. And the cool thing about, you know, just envelope filter pedals in general is that if you have an active bass that has a 3-band EQ, you can have the pedal kind of just, you know, set where you like it, and then you can use like the mid frequency on your 3-band EQ to essentially change like the sensitivity of how the pedal hits, because when you use more mid-range, obviously it's going to affect the pedal differently. So right now I have it on flat for the mids. Now if I was to turn up the mids all the way up, you know, it pokes through more. And if I was to reduce the mids all the way down, it's not as, but it's still there. So that's a really cool little hack that you can do with if you have an active bass. You use the EQ to do that kind of thing, so that you don't have to always be tweaking at the pedal. You can like do it at your instrument. So yeah. This has been great. We've already like just gotten into it. I always love the gear stuff, always, you know. But I hope everyone's been doing well. Thanks for jumping on here to number 15 of the Bass with Benjamin live stream. And we're just back at it again. And this is the time to just unleash all your nerdy questions about bass playing and music. Just pop it down in the chat. And it's always nice to kind of have a deep dive on, you know, whatever I can offer and talk about. But I always appreciate you guys jumping on here. Nice to see some regulars, of course. And whoever's new on here, even if you just want to say hi, I always appreciate connecting with anybody who is just coming on here to check it out, to see what's going on. So I was warming up earlier, like I said, on my Instagram pop-up live stream. I was actually warming up on Gotta Match, because the melody itself is such a incredible thing to play. It's also, it's a great one to really warm up on. Yeah, see? So what we got, John is asking, I just wanted to know because I have a Boss GX10 multi-effects and I can't find any envelopes, only auto wires, and the phaser was probably the closest thing. Yeah, the envelope is going to be, I guess you just got to tweak the parameters, the settings in the envelope on there. This is you really, it's a combination of the settings on the effect itself, and also on your bass, and also the way that you attack as well. Like I said, when using the mids, it really affects like just the sensitivity of how the pedal reacts. That's the thing. And I used to use an actual wah pedal as well. And I had a really nice one, a vintage Morley wah / volume pedal that I used for years. Big thing that was... it's from the 70s, and one of my buddies has it now. But that thing sounded incredible, and the reason I stopped using it because it was just it became a hassle kind of carrying it around. That's why I started using the auto wahs, the envelope pedals, because it was able to kind of do the thing that I was wanting to do. So yeah, it's just it's just tweaking, and every pedal is going to be different, just like with every octave pedal is going to be different. They all have their unique kind of sounds in the way that they are built, and that's just how it is. So you gotta, you really just gotta kind of play around until you get the sound that you want. Who we got? Aaron Stewart, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? Nice to hear from you. That's Aaron. That's my dude. Great bassist here in New Zealand. Any tips or thoughts on exercises to help adjust to wider string spacing? So for wider string spacing, this is one that I always do all the time for anything, for any type of warm-up or exercise. But this is definitely something that is really great if you are trying to transition to a different type of instrument that has a longer string scale length, maybe a little wider neck. So it's just doing these arpeggios where you're playing up to the 11th, and some of you have probably seen it from that Jaco Pastorius Modern Electric Bass DVD. So essentially I'm going to play a G minor 11 arpeggio. So I'm playing 1, minor 3, 5, minor 7, 9, and up to the 11th, right? And back down again. Because look at that, like you got to stretch. I mean, going from that minor third to the 5th, right? And that way, you're hitting the chord tones that you know, the real kind of prominent chord tones of, you know, that chord. Now, if you have say if you have like a 5-string or a 6-string, you can play up to the 13. I mean, you could do it on a 4-string too. You just got to shift, right? But if you want to keep it in one position, if you have that C string, you can go up to the 13 there. Right? So then go up into, now the next one we're going to go up a half step is going to be major, and it's going to be a Lydian chord, right? So we're going to go up, so meaning we're going to play the same kind of formula, but obviously it's going to be a major 7 sharp 11. So I went from G, now I'm going to A flat. Right, so 1, major 3rd, 5th, major 7, 9, and N. Stretch to that sharp 11, right? The Lydian. And again, if you want to go up to the 13, right? And then you go up a half step again, and then you go back to the minor 11, right? Right? And so you alternate going up in half steps, doing this minor, major, until you get all the way, you know, up to the octave, right? So you know what I mean? And it's really good for also practicing legato technique. So instead of picking every single note going, I can go. It's really good for the hammer-ons and pull-offs. Right? And that way, when it gets faster, it almost sounds like you're sweep picking, right? So. It kind of has that vibe. And then for context, brought an old 90s Yamaha 5-string. Nice! And from the 19mm spacing is interesting to be jumping on, coming off the 4-string jazz that's now... Yeah, exactly. I mean, definitely, yeah, those 90s, the 5 strings and the 6 strings definitely have much wider... spacing on there. I think they kind of do more of the P bass spacing, if I'm not, you know, I'm not super knowledgeable on just string spacing, like the exact like numbers, like 19 or whatever. All I know is that there are some basses I've played where it's like, you know what, that feels a little too wide for me, and then there's some basses where I played, that's a little too narrow for me as well, you know. But because I transition from 4 strings to 6 strings, then I have a 5-string fretless, and obviously there's the upright bass. Obviously you got to be able to like adapt to many different kind of instruments, but if you're able to maintain your playing on each instrument that you have, you know, by just, it's essentially just, you know, spending time and getting used to it, right? So for your Yamaha 5-string, like that would be something where like, yeah, you know, just spend the time like shedding on it, just playing anything, you know, music that you really love. Obviously, you know, Aaron, you're a jazz player, so even, you know, playing all the jazz stuff on it, you know, any transcriptions that you've transcribed, anything like that. That's something, you know, especially when I first transitioned to the 6-string bass, we're talking over 20 years ago. For me, I just jumped right in. That's the thing. And after like a week, just of playing it, I felt very confident on it. And so that can go for any kind of instrument, that you play on. Is you just got to spend time. Don't let obviously don't hurt yourself as well. So obviously, if you're on a newer instrument that has different dimensions of what you're used to, when your body says to take a break, you listen to it and take a break. All right, make sure you stretch, loosen up your hands, your arms, your wrists, do all that, and then come back to it when you're ready. Okay. But that's so cool, man. Because I've always seen you play a 4-string bass and playing upright. So it's cool that you're playing the Yamaha 5-string, man. Good for you, man. Really nice. And great questions. Brent saying there's that one Pinot run that's Pinot Palladino he's talking about. That's the same C minor arpeggio. Yeah, because the Paul Young. Yeah, oh man, I gotta go back. I listen to that. Tear Your Playhouse Down. That's a classic Pinot track. Is it the one that's Oh, I'm gonna get my octave going. I think my octave pedal's been a little finicky lately. There we go. Is that the tune? I can't remember. I think I get it confused with another one. But the first time I heard that lick, it wasn't Pinot. It was actually there we go. It was actually one of my favorite bass players who plays for the Yellow Jackets, Dane Alderson. This was years ago, well before he was in the Yellow Jackets, and he was there was a video. Someone had posted a video of him doing a bass solo, and he quoted that. He was playing with an octave pedal in his bass solo, and he quoted that line, and I thought it was just so hip, and I would play it in some of my bass solos for years. And then later on, when I was listening to this tune of Paul Young, I was like, wait, hang on, I know that. What is that? I never noticed it. Oh my gosh, of course. That's the thing, because Dane is a huge Pinot Palladino fan, of course, which is really cool. And yeah, Dane is just one of he's just one of the greats for me, and I feel that he's still kind of underrated a bit. And even though he's in, a band that has been, has had a long, kind of 50-year history, but I mean, he's just an absolute monster of a player. For me, he was like a role model for me when I was in college, and he was an example of someone who has incredible tone, incredible phrasing and touch, but plays with pristine dynamics and sensitivity. Is also someone that knows like a whole just like library of tunes and different styles of playing as well. So he can do the Jocko thing, he can do the Marcus Miller thing, he can do the James Jamerson thing. Like, he's one of those cats. And then he is also just such a beautiful human being as well. Just such a really sweet dude. And we've had many, wonderful hangs and just long phone conversations. We're due for one soon, actually. We've been messaging each other. We're trying to figure out when to do a Zoom hang. But Dane Alderson, incredible cat. Like, he got me, he influenced me for doing this kind of thing, which I later found out he got from Matt Garrison. There's a bass solo he did where he does he does that thing. Oh man, yeah, I could just go on about Dane Alderson like for such a long time, I stole it from the I Shot the Shit. Oh yeah, because there is a if you watching this and you have never checked out Dane Alderson, or maybe have heard of him but haven't really done a deep dive, there's so many videos here on YouTube. You should just go and do that after my live stream. Just go on a deep dive of Dane. Just such a wonderful cat, so yeah. John asks, another question. It's all good, man. This is what we're here for, man. The questions, ask away. And for anybody else, just ask away, please. I absolutely love doing this, and I love answering your questions. And it's just so cool that we can just connect this way, and that this is one of the reasons why I do this. Okay, so on the auto wah, I have a filter mode, resonance, and waveform. How should I tweak them? There are more, but they seem like the main parameters. Okay, so what I can tell you is don't put everything at full, okay, because then it's just going to kind of cancel each other out. And so for the filter mode, I mean, you might want to try resonance, but at the same time, there's also that part of me which is just like, you gotta use your ears, man, and you gotta really dial it in increments. Okay, it might feel overwhelming, and sometimes it does, but just understand that there is obviously so many different possibilities, but the sound that you're going for is going to be there. You just have to find it, okay? I wish I could tell you exactly how to tweak them, but I would say you want to have it so that the threshold, if there is a threshold kind of parameter, where it's essentially... The threshold is going to be your sensitivity, okay? So the way you play the bass, how it's going to react to your touch. So you might want to have it so that it's very sensitive, so that when you play with a lighter touch, it's going to trigger it, right? But some people play with play more harder, and they need to have the sensitivity change so that it triggers when they play a little harder. But this is the thing, if you're going to play softer, it's only going to just be in that low pass mode, right? So I have mine to where it's like a good mix, 50-50. clearly. My usual touch, and then when I kick in the effect, I don't have to change anything, right? The way that I play. Man, it would have been cool to hear Jaco through an envelope. I don't think we ever heard him through an envelope. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but out of all the recordings and even bootlegs that I've heard, I've never heard Jaco through an envelope. I've only heard him, through the kind of chorusy sound. Even the octave bass. Or the octave pedal he would use. See, I gotta open up my octave pedal, see why it's doing that. Or even. That's the thing. So it would have been, it would have been cool to hear, but who knows? Let me see if I can play it up to speed again. Nope. See, there's two ways of playing that part. There's going this way, or going right. Yeah. There's two different ways. I'm still trying to figure out, even after years of playing this, still trying to figure out which way I want to do it. And that's something I should ask Patitucci next time I chat with him. It's like, which way did you play it? He'll probably say, I don't know. I probably just, whatever felt good. John says, I slightly understand what you said, but the filter throws me off a bit. What do you have yours set at? Well, I mean, this is a thing, because the envelope filter, the EBS one, it's just two knobs and a switch, so threshold and attack. And in the mode, I have it selected on the typical up, so that it's the standard going wah. And you can have it set so it goes in reverse, like wow. You can have it set to do that. For filter, yeah, that might be something where. So what I suggest, John, is set it at 0 and then just start bringing it up slowly from there, right? Bring it up from there, and then that way you can start to hear, okay, what does it affect? Sometimes that's what I do when I'm trying to understand an effect pedal, is like I'll set things at 0 and then gradually bring them in to just understand what they do. That's what I was doing with this this reverb pedal, this New Neighbor Immerse pedal, because it has just so many amazing different parameters and settings and modes on it. So when trying to like understand how they work and how I could use them, I would just set it at 0 and then just kind of gradually bring things in. Oh, that's what that does. Oh, okay, yeah, I can hear. Oh, and if I blend these two together, I can get this thing. So that's kind of just how I figure out pedals. Sometimes each, and again, this goes from brands to brand. Each pedal is going to have their description of what a knob does or their name, and some of them are kind of self-explanatory, some of them not so much. At the end of the day, you really just have to let your ears figure it out. All right. And I'm not trying to say that as a cop-out because that's just been my thing just with any type of equipment, whether it's been with instruments, amps, pedals, and then even stuff in like when I'm working in Logic, like with plugins and all that. You really have to use your ears and also kind of do understand, like for something like a compressor pedal, how the different things work, right? That's the whole point. You need to understand, okay, what does the threshold mean? What does the ratio mean? You know, that thing. So good luck on your envelope journey, John. You know, I'm sure you'll figure out some really cool things. You might even figure out something, hey, you know what? I actually like this sound, you know? And that's usually what happens when you're trying to discover, when you're trying to search for something, you start figuring out other things that you like. And that's just the beauty of playing music. Even at that tempo, it's like, you know, it's just fun just shedding over the chord changes because, you know, it is a blues, but with an extended turnaround. So so we have what, D minor, and then G minor, and then E minor, A7, E minor, A7, F minor, B flat 7, the E flat major 7, E flat major 7, then minor 7 to A7, and then D7. And then the other part that some of you probably seen me shed is the drum solo shout part, you know, where they all play that unison line. This is one that's also a great warm-up too. So going back to what Aaron was talking about, where, you know, on a new instrument, trying to play the transcriptions that you've worked on, or just stuff that you've been working on your other instruments, it's always great to try and translate that to, you know, newer instruments or different basses, whether they have 4 or 6 strings, right? So this part, right? But they play it way faster than that, you know. It's such a great workout, cats. You know, if you get a chance to, if you haven't learned that tune, got a match, definitely have a go at that. Really great. I was working on that with one of my coaching students the other day, and he actually plays a Yamaha 6-string bass from the 90s. He's quite a huge John Patitucci fan. But he said he's always wanted to learn that, and he said, "Oh, you know, one day I'll get to it." And I said, "Let's do it right now." So within an hour, you know, the lesson, he learned how to play the melody to Gotta Match. It might not be up to speed, but he got the melody down at a nice easy tempo, and now he's, you know, practicing or working the tempo up. And the great thing about this melody is that it allows you to work on each part in like 3 to 4 sections, right? So if we look at the first part, that part right there, you can just shed that, like just work on that part to get that under your fingers. Right? You have that part. And then the other thing too, I've got like a crackle happening somewhere. I think I'm okay now. Yeah. And then the other part being the part that I'm really trying to get a hold of. You know, you can even divide it down even more. Right there, right? And then bring in the other part. So that's and then you can do the same thing for the first. And then the next one will be the second part. So that's the great thing about that tune, is that as complicated as it sounds, it really allows you to really break it down and work on it in just sections, and then you can put the whole piece together and really work on then just joining it up. But because it's just a blues, it's something that is that's why, you know, with my student, I mean, he's, you know, he picks up things very fast. But the fact that we were able in one lesson, just in one session, he went from, yeah, one day I'll learn how to play it, you know, but you know, we'll see, to like an hour later he knows how to play it. Let me just tell you, you know, when there's a will, when there's a way, if you tell yourself that, you know what, I'm gonna play this, whatever it is, it sounds really hard, it sounds really complicated, but I want to play it, then you figure it out and you do it. That's been a lot of that's been a big thing for me when just learning tunes for gigs, that music that people have sent me. It's just like, oh my god, how am I gonna play that? There's definitely times where I felt like that with, you know, when Billy Childs has sent me tunes to learn of his, and I'm just like, oh my god, like after doing that initial listen, like, oh, okay, all right. But then when you just start chipping away at it, the next thing you know, you're just like, oh, you know what? I've got this going, you know? It's just, it just takes that persistence and just that dedication, and also just your love and passion for music, of wanting to play, and knowing that when you play stuff that is challenging, it does make you a better player. And so, but there has to be that drive and that passion, all right, of wanting to, like, okay, instead of just going, nah, that's too hard, I'm not going to play that. And I've come across a lot of musicians who were like that, and there could be a number of reasons as to why, you know, they don't want to learn a hard tune. Maybe they didn't like the tune, or they might feel a little insecure about their playing, which happens. Or it's also they just don't have the time as well, which is totally understandable. I created a reputation for myself of, I became that guy who could play people's hard music because they knew that they could send it to me and I would work on it. And so I was playing a lot of difficult, complex music, but I mean, it was rewarding because it helped me grow as a musician, and obviously it helped me get more gigs as well. Because people were like, oh wow, if he can play Billy Child's music, then he can definitely play my music. That kind of thing, right? Yeah, you definitely got to tackle Got a Match for sure. But it's something that and it's a great warm up. It really is. It absolutely is. And you know, I'm definitely feeling a little more looser now. It's still kind of cold a little bit, not in this room, but just, you know, just in general. So how's everyone doing? All right out there? If you're just joining on, welcome. We've been having a lot of fun here talking about envelope filters and old 90s Yamaha 5-strings and Dane Alderson and Got a Match and all that kind of thing. I might pull something out from the gig archives, which I like to do on the live streams, where I play a tune or two, usually two, where from a previous gig or whatever. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play two today, just because it's always, you know, after playing one, I'm like, I want to play some more. Let's see. I've got it here. Get my chart here. All right. And now this is where I do have to use my headphones, because to hear the track. Nice. That sounds good. All right, so I'm going to play a tune This first one, let's see, bring up the music player here. This first one is actually by a piano player that I was so excited to play with a number of times by the name of Jeffrey Keyser. And I was a huge Jeffrey Keyser fan because of his playing with the Christian McBride Band. For those of you who listened to that live album, Live at Tonic, that's a live album that I just wore out in college, and a generation of musicians also did as well. So it was really cool to be able to play with Jeffrey and his wife Jillian Margot, who's a wonderful singer. And we did a bunch of gigs together. And I'm going to play this tune that they both wrote, and she's singing on this one. And this is actually from a live show that we did at Sam First. Hey, Brent, thank you so much. Great to see you. Thanks for stopping by. This track is from a tune that we did at Sam First, which is a jazz club in Los Angeles. And you can actually see the videos from these gigs here on YouTube if you just type in Jeffrey Keyser Trio, and maybe my name at the end. That way you can specifically go to those. But this is a tune that they wrote called You Stay With Me, and it's got some nice chords to it. I'm gonna play here. So here we go. Here's the gig archives, the first tune, You Stay With Me.
You stay with me. How else would it be than for you to be haunting the room? You play with me, provoke those old memories with your books, old clothes and perfume. Your way with me was not the stuff of famous stories, and now I've grown to see
You Stay With Me, Jeffrey Keezer and Jillian Margot. Yeah, you can check. There's videos to this on YouTube that you can see, and there's a lot of fun playing this music. And that's Christian Newman playing drums. Some of you might have seen Christian. He plays in Jacob Collier's band. But Christian and I, we've done a lot of gigs around LA together. A lot with Jeffrey Keezer, and we've played a lot with Billy Childs as well. So yeah, really cool. All right, I'm gonna go on to the next tune. I'm gonna play a Monkestra tune. This is a real fun one that we played many times, and this is from our second record that we did. And so this one's cool. This is a classic Thelonious Monk tune that John Beasley arranged called Crisscross. So here we go, Crisscross. Woo! Oh man. Um, I remember when John brought in that arrangement. It was just after he had taken a trip to Cuba, and he spent like a few weeks there. And I remember he came back and he had this. He had been around a lot. He obviously, like every day, he told me he was just around a lot of Cuban music and rumba, like stuff's like so deep, like the pocket is so deep that you don't even know where the one is, and so of course, hanging around with these musicians and getting some lessons and all that, and just watching how it's done. Of course, he was like, okay, man, I got to do some stuff like that for Monkestra, especially like with Monk's music. And this is the thing, before I started playing with Monkestra, I'd played some Thelonious Monk tunes, obviously, being a jazz player, it's part of like the standard repertoire, a lot of Monk's music, but I hadn't really like done like a deep dive into Thelonious, Monk's like the whole like repertoire, right? Or even a lot about his, style of playing, other than it was definitely very quirky and very unique, especially coming from like the bebop era. But when I joined Monkestra, and we're playing Thelonious Monk's music, but done differently. That's when I really got to really understand Thelonious Monk as a composer, as a player as well. And also, it's just so cool how a lot of Monk's music can be played and still sound great in so many different ways. Obviously, his tunes were all like straight ahead jazz tunes. Even this tune that I just played, Crisscross. Ba-da da da bap ba da da that. Like it's all like kind of straight here, but like the fact that it works so well, in this kind of funky like Afro-Cuban kind of style, it just is really cool. And then if we look at his tune, all right, I'm gonna play one more. Okay, I'm gonna play one because since I'm talking about one, I'm gonna play one more Monkestra tune just to kind of explain my point here of how Monk's music works so well in different styles. So on the very first record that I played on with Monkestra, Monkestra Volume 1, John had done an arrangement, and it was just trio, myself, Terry Gully, and John, of Monk's classic tune Round Midnight, right? Which, most of us, if it being a ballad, da ba da ba da ba da ba da 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 da, right? You get the idea. But John thought, hey, it might be cool to do it as like a Robert Glasper experiment kind of vibe. So maybe I'll try and play this again. I've got to bring up the chart. But when we played this in the studio, it just came out so well, and it was a lot of fun. But let me bring up the chart here. If I have it here, I think I do. And thank you everybody for being on here. This has been so great. Just to hang with you all and play for you and just answer your questions and all that. And it's just, this is always such a pleasure to do this. Okay, here we go. Now Terry Gully does this insane little drum lick at the beginning. So we'll see. And I don't always, when we did it in the studio, I knew where he started it, but since then on the recording, I'm not sure where I forgot where he started, so we'll see if I land on beat 1. If not, oh well. And also, one other thing I should point out, and then I'll play, is that, hey, Kai Kurosawa, how you doing, bro? Nice to see you. So another thing that John had asked me was, he's like, for your bass tone, could you get it to not like sound like a bass guitar? Could you get like a more sub bass kind of thing? Maybe if you use an octave pedal or something. But on the session, I didn't have my octave pedal with me, but I had already been doing a lot of gigs, playing a lot of hip hop and kind of Dilla stuff where I would get this sub bass sound. And how you do it is you turn your tone all the way down, you reduce your mids, you kind of boost the bass end, and then you just do the front pickup and you're going to play here. So essentially what reggae bass players would be doing when they're playing. And it gets this nice sub bass sound. So I recommend, if you're listening to this one, if you want to hear the nice bass content, I recommend listening with some good headphones or speakers. But anyway, here is Round Midnight. And I hope you enjoy. go. That's Monks, Thelonious Monk's Round Midnight, done as like a Robert Glasper experiment kind of vibe. And again, this is just something where, like, Monk's music just works so well in different kind of vibes, different settings. That's what I really discovered about Monk's music. You could just do it so many different ways and it still feels and sounds so good. So hope you enjoyed that. I think that's it for this week of the live stream. And I really appreciate you all coming on here. This has been so great to see some regulars and some new cats on here. So thank you again. And again, if there's anything I can do to help you with your bass playing or music making, please reach out to me. You can go to basswithbenjamin.com and just hit me up there. Or you could just reach out in the DMs on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, whatever platform I'm on. And if courses and all that, you can see them in the description box here. My chords course, I've got theory courses, all that good stuff. So whatever you want to level up in your bass playing, I can help you out there, which is always really fun to do. If you want some one-on-one time, you can also reach out to me about coaching and mentoring. And Kai giving you extra energy. Oh yeah, man. Good luck with your move, man. All the best. Definitely. Yeah. Got to keep the energy up for doing all that, man. I know all about that. So all the best with that, and all the best to everyone out there who's tuned in. I really appreciate it. It's always great to connect with you all, as always. And wherever you are in the world, just be safe out there. Have fun playing bass, playing music, discovering new things. And I'll see you again next week, or just whenever. Okay? Thank you, everybody. You're awesome. I really appreciate you all the time. So thank you again. Take care. See you next week. I used to watch that show a lot back in the day. So take care, everyone. See you again next time.